Hey, every day you need to ask yourself, am I afraid of people or am I afraid of God? Do I fear people or do I fear God? This is Walk and Talk 202, March 14th. How do I fear God? What are some ways that would show that I fear God more than I fear humanity? Many individuals are going through life almost paralyzed because they're intimidated by people. I'm going to suggest to you that the Bible says, fear God much more than you fear man. I'm looking at Proverbs chapter 8, verse 13, and it says, the fear of the Lord is to hate evil. The fear of the Lord is to hate pride. The fear of the Lord is to hate arrogance. The fear of the Lord is to hate the evil way. The fear of the Lord is to hate the perverted mouth. Have you noticed how easy it is for people to completely flip over what people say? I'm suggesting to you in this walk and talk that you use discretion, that you find ways to lift up, to show, good morning, to show that your respect for God is greater than your fear of people. Notice the text says the fear of the Lord. This idea of fear is respect. It's reverence. It's to show honor. It's easy for us to show honor to people who are kind, to people who are beautiful, but have you thought about showing respect or honor to God, where all goodness and all beauty comes from? The Bible says every good and perfect gift comes from above. I'm suggesting to you that the fear of the Lord is showing respect to God, who has given you and every person the goodness and the beauty that we see. God has created every good and perfect gift. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil. Number one, simple suggestion. Evil is the opposite of good, of beauty. Evil wants to twist, or as the text says, pervert the goodness that God has created, the beauty that God has created. I'm simply suggesting to you that the fear of God is lifting up the goodness, the kindness, the beauty that God has created in the image of God, not the image of man. The fear of the Lord is to recognize that every good and every perfect thing that we get to enjoy on earth, the sunshine, the moonshine, the rain, the beauty that God has created, the goodness of compassion, of forgiveness, the beauty of a smile, the goodness of hearing the first cry of a newborn. In this walk and talk, I'm pointing you to respect God because He's created everything good, everything beautiful that you enjoy. Show reverence. The word translated fear is a little bit challenging. Good morning. Think of the word respect instead of fear, or think of the word reverence. It's not to be afraid that God is going to punish you. It's to recognize that God is the creator of everything good, everything beautiful. And I encourage you, evil wants to distort or manipulate what God has created as good. Evil is the opposite of good. In this walk and talk, notice the text is saying pride, hate pride. Pride is what wants to replace God and make yourself God, or an idea that God says. Replace God's ideas with your ideas. That's pride. Pride is that desire to somehow think you know better than God. You are smarter than God. That's pride. Or you're much more intellectual, wiser than other people, and you look down on other people. Pride is this elevation of self. I'm encouraging you, stay humble. Stay meek. Humble and meek is a way of showing respect. You can still speak the truth in love, but stay humble. Pride is that attitude, I don't care what God says. Pride is that attitude, it doesn't matter what the Bible says. Pride is the attitude, I'm going to do it my way. It doesn't matter what God says. Pride is replacing God as the ultimate source of all goodness and all beauty with somehow your creation. In this walk and talk, I'm encouraging you, never replace the goodness of God with your evil ideas. Evil will just simply move you further and further away from God. In your pride, you think you know better. But the facts are clear in humanity. The more people disobey God, the more they cycle away from God into their own foolishness, into their own pride, into their own self-perversion. Arrogance and pride is listed in the text. Hate evil, hate pride, hate arrogance. Arrogance is that outward expression of pride. Pride is that inward, I'm better than you. But arrogance is that outward, that defiance, that protest against God. I'm gently saying to you, your inside heart needs to be humble, and your expressions externally need to be gracious and respectful. I think the text is clear. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil, hate pride, hate arrogance, hate the evil way. That little phrase, evil way, carries the idea of philosophy. It carries the idea of strategy, practice. The practice of humanity can be anti-God, anti-anything that the Bible says. I'm suggesting to you that the evil way is prideful and arrogant. And the text goes on to say, the mouth is perverted. Words expressed, language used that is anti-God or anti-Bible is a perversion of the truth. The truth is, every good and perfect gift comes from above. The truth is, God has given us good. God has given us the beauty. And the Bible would just simply say, don't pervert it. Take the goodness of God and elevate it. Let me give you some practical suggestions. Day by day, choose to fear God, meaning hate evil. Not hate in the sense of throwing rocks at someone, not hate in the sense of shouting them down, not hate in the sense of being hostile or ugly, but hate in the sense of disagreement. Hate in the sense of speaking the truth in love because you disagree. And you can disagree strongly, but still you need to stand and graciously speak the truth. Simple, practical suggestion. Good morning. Anytime that someone has an opposing opinion or opposing position, can I just encourage you? Be humble. Just speak a word of advice. Sometimes I will say to individuals, am I listening or responding? Would you like an opinion? May I share an idea with you? May I share a suggestion with you? There's no need to shout. There's no need to argue. There's no need to be hateful. But there is a need for you to speak the truth in love. And I'm encouraging you, stand up and fear God. Don't be afraid of man, of people. Graciously, patiently, listen well, but speak the truth. Offer the goodness of God, not the hatefulness of man. Offer the kindness of God and graciously state your position. This is Walk and Talk 202. I'm encouraging you to fear God much more than you fear people. People tend to paralyze other people, intimidate others. God would want you to offer a word of truth, a word of courage, God's ideas, God's ideas is for you to be wise, to be prudent, to show the knowledge of God, to offer discretion. In this walk and talk, can I make the simple suggestion? Be careful that you don't compromise. Evil is evil, and good is good. Be careful that you don't get caught up in your own challenge of compromise. Be careful that you're lifting up what the Bible says and you're living what the Bible says. Compromise may be nothing more than evil. When you give in and participate, someone else can choose to behave a certain way, but that doesn't mean that you have to behave the same way. You can gently and graciously disagree and point people to what the Bible says. Fear God more than you fear man. Good morning. I'm just simply encouraging you. Take the Bible, study the Bible. What does God say? What is good? What does God say? What is evil? Run from evil. Run to the goodness of God. In this walk and talk, we've identified 5 ways to fear God. Simply hate evil is number 1. Hate pride, number 2. That inner rebellion against God. Hate arrogance, that outward rebellion against God. And hate the philosophy of the evil anti-God ideas. And don't get caught up in having words that come out of your mouth that are perverted, meaning anti-God, meaning something that supports evil. This walk and talk 202 is encouraging you not to fear man, but fear God. We want to invite you to worship this coming Sunday at 9:30 and 11. We have Bible classes for children, youth, and adults. You're invited. We have small groups on Sunday morning, 9:30 and 11, as well as throughout the week. Women's groups, men's groups, opportunities for young married couples to meet. My hope for you is that you would enjoy God and the Bible, that you would respect and reverence God. This is Walk and Talk 202, March 14th. Have a great day.